going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, a.k.a. Chatty Bobby. All
My name's Tony, a.k.a. Friday the 14th. Short and sweet this week.
Short and sweet. S&S.
That's us.
Look, we're back with episode 13.
This is a baker's dozen.
This is a baker's dozen, dadgummit.
I'm right this time.
You're right this time.
I was way off last week.
Way off.
It was just a regular dozen.
Yeah, it was a regular. Shout out to regular dozens.
Yeah.
And bigger shout out to baker's dozens. Episode 13 of Over the Top with Chad and Tony.
We have a special episode this week.
This is awesome. So this week, when this is being filmed, this is actually being uploaded the following week. But
Yeah.
when this is being filmed, this is the week that my dog Jelly Roll, huge week for him.
A humongous week.
We'll just kind of break it down. So Jelly Roll had a documentary. That's what we're doing today. It's the Jelly Roll Save Me documentary. Okay.
Yep, we're going to go over it.
We're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. And it's going to be dope because being somebody that I've known Jelly since 2005, that's my homie. Like, and Tony's been a fan of his music for a number of years. Same with Chance. So it's going to be cool to see these kind of perspectives on it. The documentary is really, really good. It's on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, you can do a free trial to watch it. It's like an hour and a half.
Yep.
It's really, really dope.
Amazing. We'll get more into detail about it.
Yeah, but like, so Jelly did 2 nights at the Ryman this week when this is being filmed, right? One of them was a Tuesday night, and I got tickets for both nights. I went to the premiering of the documentary.
Yeah.
And then he did a cool like Q&A, or well, he tried to do a Q&A after, but it turned into people just wanting to fan out, which I get. Except for
he is a superstar.
Mel's daughter had a dope question, and one other person had an actual question, but everybody else was just trying to be seen. But anyway, that was dope. And then the next night, he did the Ryman, and it was a show. Basically, he performed his entire Whitsitt Chapel album,
which is amazing, by the way.
It's available now. So he did that whole album, and then he did some of like the classics. He did "Son of a Sinner." He did "Save Me." You know, he did other stuff too.
Did he do "Hate Goes On"?
No, I don't know if he did or not, because I had stepped out to talk with some people after he did the Whitsitt Chapel album.
One of my favorite. I know for a while that was the opener.
That was opening on his tour, but
it's one of my all-time favorite Jelly songs.
Yes.
Love "Hate Goes On."
So he did that on the 31st, and then June 1st, the day before his album drop, he gets the cover of Billboard magazine.
Which is, I mean, it's
insane.
As a local guy, as being
a
local. Well, I'm not from Nashville. I'm 20 minutes outside east
Same
of
here.
Nashville.
I'm
in Mount
Juliet. I'm Springfield, so
but
like I'm
following him as long as we have, it's amazing to see the local guys winning.
Oh, dude, and I mean, he just keeps like. Then his album drops when this is being filmed. It's available now. It dropped today, June 2nd. This will be uploaded on the 8th.
In which he was #1 on iTunes in all genres. He was
for a minute.
For a minute. The Foo Fighters overtook him. I mean, it's the Foo Fighters.
But
it's pretty good company right there.
He left the show Wednesday. His album dropped Friday. He was back in New York Friday morning. He performed on Good Morning America, and he did two. I think he did two songs.
Yeah, I think he did.
He did "She." That's the one I saw. But apparently he did whatever the show is with Michael Strahan.
Yeah, I don't. But he
did 2 of them. So he's had a big week, man. So I just kind of wanted to speak on that too. But the previous week, I think he did the Rogan episode dropped.
Yeah, which somebody got named in on the Rogan episode.
Dude,
biggest podcast in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he shouted me out, man. He said,
our boy was mentioned on it.
Yeah, he said, I may be able to throw it in there. I don't know if I can. I don't know. I'm not going to try to do that.
Don't even risk it. Yeah, but yeah, if you're a Joe Rogan fan, if you're a Chad fan, if you're a Jelly fan, you've probably watched the Joe Rogan episode. It's over 3 hours long, and one of my favorite Joe Rogan experience episodes I've ever watched. Is you get the full range of emotions in that as well. Because Jelly, I've never met Jelly. I've always been a fan of him and everything, but he just seems like one of us. He
is, bro.
He just seems like a real person.
Yeah.
Even though he's one of the biggest superstars in the world right now.
He definitely is as cool as they get, man. And then like knowing him, meeting him in 2005 and knowing him still to this day, and then like for him to do stuff like that on Joe Rogan, I mean he was basically talking about whenever he was locked up and I was helping run his MySpace and his YouTube, and then we did the 10-minute freestyle, and it was just really dope, man, because he knows I love podcasts, he knows I watch them, And he shouted me out on Joey Diaz, Theo Vaughn, and Joe Rogan.
Well, y'all talked about it on I Got Some Shit to Say, the podcast.
Yep.
Even though he's like one of the biggest superstars in the world right now, and his time is very limited on the things he can do, he makes sure
always
to send flowers to the guys that mean the most to him.
Always.
And everything, and that's helped him along as well. Even little things like even if it's just a 10-second clip of him saying you're.
Man.
That's
he doesn't owe.
He doesn't owe anybody anything.
No, he doesn't owe anybody anything. But him doing that is
it
real shit,
means
bro.
the world. I mean, that's everything right there. That's amazing. That just speaks to the person that he is right there.
Yeah, and when I watched the Q&A, he was talking about, and luckily I'm close enough with his team to where they'll let me know when stuff's fixing to happen or what's going on or give me a heads up or And salute to Jonathan and the whole team and Jelly's whole team. I love all of them. But he was telling me that they were saying that they filmed over 1,000 hours for this documentary.
That's crazy.
And it got narrowed down to an hour and 27 minutes.
That's what's crazy. Thousands of hours of footage, and just to cram all that into an hour and a half. There's only so much that you can fit into an hour and make it flow the way it did.
Well, and honestly, like, if they didn't have an end point for it,
I mean,
they could have made a series out of it.
Yeah, because when I got on Hulu, when I first got on Hulu, it said play episodes.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I was like, "What? This is a multi-part?" I was like, "Hell yeah, this is going to be even better."
Which I think they've got something in the works. I think him and Bunny have something in the works on like some kind of show.
Oh, okay. But I was like,
somewhere I don't know where.
Because this documentary could have easily been stretched out more of getting into detail. Because, like I said, you've been around Jelly since 2005, you said?
I met him in 2005 outside of some random album release party. Shout out Cadence. You remember Cadence back in the day?
I don't
Sitting on Dubs. You remember Chance? You remember Cadence?
Yes, sir.
Hot Mike Chance in the
Hot Mike
building.
Chance in the house. I mean, we've been rambling.
By the way, yeah. Go ahead and give him your intro, bro. My bad, dude. We jumped right into that.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the applause. That's what I'm waiting for. There we go. Welcome. Hey, let me do the official opening.
Okay.
Welcome, everyone, to Hot Mike Chance Presents Chad and Tony Over the Top.
Boom.
Yeah.
We're already in this thing, though.
And you renamed it completely right there.
Salute to Hot Mike Chance, dude.
He is here. We almost forgot about him.
He's still pissed off from last week, though.
Yeah, he is. No sugar.
He is not happy.
No,
the
he
way
is
was
very
treated
upset
at
about
H2O.
Yes, yeah, and
Halloween
my
H2O.
comments during the premiere, he was not happy with me.
See, I didn't
whatsoever.
even. We were podding.
Yeah,
on
which
Friday,
I
so
told.
I missed
That's
it.
what I put. I let everybody know that y'all were filming a podcast and everything. But yeah, Chance came back in and saw one of my comments in there and was not too happy.
Face.
And I was watching H2O instead of watching the premiere.
What?
Yep, that's what was happening. That's what was happening.
Come on, man. Jeez.
No,
shout out Halloween.
I would
H2O,
never do that.
CGI mask.
Yeah, see.
But
yeah, Hot Mike Chance is here in the house. Everybody.
he is, man, and I think going back to what we were talking about, like I think that this is doing so well. From what Jelly was saying, this is doing very well. Like on Hulu, I could easily see them turning
Into a
something
docu-series.
into
Yeah,
down the road because
he's
just going to keep But yeah, he was saying that they filmed thousands of hours, and he said that he didn't even see the final product. They saw the first like 15 or 20 minutes of it, and that's all they let him see.
Wow.
Because they wanted him, I guess, to be surprised or whatever.
Just
It got okayed by somebody in Jelly's team, obviously.
Yeah.
But he didn't see. So he was like, I didn't know what it was going to be because they filmed so much content. But it's really dope, man. You want to kind of get.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like with you saying thousands of hours of content, because was it Red Rock that they started filming with him?
Yes, they Red Rocks, which that was the R.I.P. Nate, Forever 29.
Yeah.
That's when Nate passed away. That same day that Jelly had that show at Red Rocks, and that was October 23rd.
And it's as terrible as that situation is.
Yeah, man.
For the timing of it and. For the cameras to be there and catch, almost not the first reaction to it, of course, but just to get his reaction is standing in that. I've been to Red Rock. I've never seen a show at Red Rocks, but I've been to that. That place is absolutely amazing. Now, it's a chore to get into that motherfucker.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
It is. It'll take your breath away because with the altitude, and it's a climb to get in there. But I can't imagine that place at night filled up with 10,000 people in between, because you're literally in between two mountains in this amphitheater, and the stage is at the bottom. I was looking for Squints during that show too.
Rocks, yeah.
Shout out Squints. I was looking for you during that little scene, hoping that I could find you during all that. But yeah, just catching his reaction right before the show to those terrible events. It just once again and just shows how real he is.
Yeah, man, and when me and Sis both got approached by ABC about this documentary, because obviously they needed information from Sis about Nate, which was her son. That's who.
Yeah.
Forever 20. JLJ Images. She's been a close friend of mine since 2009. I met her.
She's part of the family.
For sure, absolutely.
She's part of y'all's close-knit family.
And Jelly and her are like brother and sister. And that Nate was like his nephew.
And that's what he says in the documentary.
For sure.
He calls him his nephew, even though they weren't by blood.
Yeah, that part, it was crazy, man. That whole tournament.
And I believe during the show he dedicated a part of the show. They didn't show it.
They did it smoking section. He did something. Yeah, for sure.
And document. I don't think it was in the.
It wasn't in the documentary, but it was something else that we had saw it on.
But what's amazing to me is at the beginning of the documentary where Jelly's sitting there talking, and he says at the beginning of 2022 they were playing a 1,000 seat place in Connecticut.
Yep.
And by December of 2022, he sold out Bridgestone Arena to over 16,000 people.
Yep.
That's
in 12 months.
In 12 months to go from 1,000 seat capacity crowd to over 16,000. I mean, it's unheard of that kind of rise.
Yeah, man. I mean, the documentary is it's really well done.
It's shot. I think the editing of it is really well done. It's very emotional.
Yeah, roller coaster stuff for sure.
It's a roller coaster of emotions.
And it's basically it's less than it's from October 22nd, 23rd, whenever they started filming in Red Rocks, because I think he got there the day before. It was from that time, and then Bridgestone was December 9th. Now, I don't know if they filmed anything after Bridgestone. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say it was 2 months of filming.
Well, it looks they were setting up for Christmas and everything, but I set up for Christmas the day after Halloween, so
yeah.
And it looks like from following Jelly and them on social media, they were they love Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
Much as we do.
Yeah, they do. So we can just kind of get into it, man. About the documentary, man. Save Me documentary. That's what this episode's about.
Yeah. I should have had this pulled up, but I didn't. The director of it is Barry Perlman. With ABC Studios, I presume is who's put this out.
Yeah, and they came on stage during the Q&A. It was like a group of like three of them. It was two guys and a girl that was up there on stage talking about it. So that may have been the producers and stuff too.
So did they pretty much just followed Jelly around for 2 months?
That's straight? What it sounds like.
I'm assuming they pretty much lived with them too, pretty much.
I would assume so. I don't know the ins and outs completely about how all that worked, but I would assume that they were closed if they weren't staying there, you know. But I just thought it was cool that the way that they jumped around, like they were going present day, and then the show starts out of him in a laundromat in 2015.
Yeah, and I remember watching those videos on Jelly's channels of him and Scary going out to going kayaking out on the river and stuff and everything. It's just growing up here in Middle Tennessee. I was a fan of all music and everything. Rap music was a huge influence on me. Huge Bone Thugs and Harmony. Huge 3-6 Mafia fan growing up here in Tennessee. Hell, I remember buying CDs at the Kmart because back in the day, Walmart wouldn't sell parental advisory stickers. Shout out to Ryan with Troubled Spirits. He knows this story. But we were at Kmart one day and East 1999 was out. and we conned old Kent Murphy into
shout out
buying
Kent Murphy.
me and Ryan the East 19. The only reason we got away with it is it had a small parental advisory sticker on there, not one of the big ones. It was a small one on there, so we told Kent Murphy, "Hey, the smaller the parental advisory sticker, the less cuss words that are on it."
So funny,
and he
Such
believed
a
it.
funny lie to tell.
Believed it
your dad.
wholeheartedly. So we get both of us walking out of there with our heads held high. We got East 1999. We're like, what? When did that come out? 96?
96.
So we're 12 years old.
Yep.
We're walking out at Kmart. Yeah. Get back to my house, pop the CD in my little boombox in my room. We're jamming out, and all of a sudden, Ryan's mom walks by my room at one crucial part and stops her in her tracks. And we had to pull the CDs out, and we had to smash them on my front
God,
doorstep.
such an aggressive form of discipline.
But yeah,
Back in the
but rap music was a huge influence. I listened to everything, but rap music was a huge influence. And as I got older, of course, I started learning about the local stuff around. And let's see, 2001, Top Dollar was huge around here.
Yep.
Lex and them, and Haystack was because I lived in Mount Juliet. Lebanon was like the hangout spot back in the day.
Of course.
And you go up on the square, you see Haystack hanging out there. You see Top Dollar hanging out there out at Rivergate Mall. And then
shout out Rivergate Mall.
no, not Rivergate Mall. Hickory Hollow was
Oh
more
yeah,
the
definitely
hangout.
not shout out Rivergate Mall. Hickory Hollow.
Hickory Hollow was more the Rivergate.
RIP. Hickory Hollow.
The hangout out there. And then Jelly started coming in there and getting introduced to him. And it's just crazy to see following him from back then to this historical rise that he's gone on now as being one of the biggest artists in music.
I mean, it's the fastest ascension I've seen of an artist. I think
I've never seen
in our
anything
lifetime.
like it. Yeah.
Chance, when do you first remember? Because you're a Nashville boy.
Yep.
So you want to talk about because you've probably got some Jelly Roll stories, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've personally never met him. I briefly met him at the Muse and places like that whenever he would perform there. But the first time that I ever remember seeing him is whenever I was doing hearing of him is when I done the mixtape series back in the day.
Yep.
And got
JC
some music.
Rich, dude.
Got some music from LRE that he was on, and so like just through MySpace, that's how I found out about him. And then I heard struggle through Jelly Roll. But yeah, you know, the old school people. I used to listen to Haystack and Cool Daddy Fresh, Top Dollar,
Pistol.
Pistol. All
Well,
them.
we had Cats Music, the local music shops around here that would have all the local guys.
Yeah, you can put them in there on consignment because towards the 06, 07, I started putting my stuff in Cats and City Warehouse and stuff. And it was just, I thought I'd made it because I was in.
Yeah, I mean, and
you know what I mean?
the greatest things about those places is you had the listening stations.
Yeah.
And you could go up and test and listen to it and be like, hey, yeah, well, I'll go buy that. Come out with a handful of CDs that day.
That's where I got all my Nashville mixtapes. Well, I got them at Platinum Bound.
Yeah.
On Jefferson. Was that Jefferson? Platinum Bound?
I'm
I
not.
think so.
See, I was always at Cats right there in Hermitage. That was my.
Cats was fire. I went to the one in Madison some, but City Warehouse back when City Warehouses were like big. Now they're all closed down, but all of them are. Cats, all that stuff's gone now. But
it was always New Life for me.
New Life, yeah. Shout out to Lee.
Oh, was that out there in West Nashville?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he always took good care of Jelly. I remember as far as having him in there, showcasing him and stuff.
See, slamming and jamming out in Lemon,
Lebanon,
at the car shows out there. I remember
he used to shake. I remember one of the shows he went to. He was on stage performing, and I was selling his mixtapes out in the crowd while he was performing. I remember that.
Now, see, I came across your videos way before we ever met in the Blu-ray stuff. I came across the Chad Arms TV stuff, the two old stuff. That's how I first came across you even before the Blu-ray days. Because I would just get on YouTube and look up local raps and then Nashville rap stuff, and your videos would pop up with especially the Jelly and Worm stuff.
Yep, RP Wizzle. For sure.
Yeah, RP Worm.
But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. And going from especially some of the episodes where you're filming in Jelly's sitting laying on that little tiny bed in Worm's apartment,
bro. That's just so
with
funny.
that flip phone and everything. And now he's
that
the
was
biggest.
14 years ago.
Now he's the biggest artist in music.
Yep.
And then them two talking about, oh, you could just pay us in 20 pairs of Jordans, we'll be good to go.
Yeah. Spit bucket and mud flap, man. That's what they were going to be called. They had
And seeing a young Squints in those videos as well. I mean, the one video that sticks out to me is you're riding in the passenger seat and Squints is driving. What's he called? The monkey knuckle?
Oh, the monkey knot. Yeah,
the monkey knot. That's what it is.
Yep.
Those videos were like so ahead of their time.
It was
too.
you were way ahead of your time with that stuff.
Yeah, you was able to really get to know the artist, and for a fan, that's what people want to know. They want to know the behind the scenes stuff.
Exactly,
which is why I think this documentary is so successful too.
I think
for sure.
Because it got so much of the behind the scenes stuff in it and everything. And like I said, as being an outsider of just the fan of the music and everything, and then of course coming across and becoming best friends with you and everything, it's crazy to see from watching those videos from 2009 and 2010 and all that stuff to now. It's wild.
It's just crazy.
And I'm sure it's even crazier for you seeing, being part of it.
Yeah, every time I see something him doing something else, I'm just like, man, it's just so dope, dude.
Because one thing about the documentary, your name is in the credits of the documentary.
Yeah, so they approached me a few months back and had when they approached Sis and she said that they had asked her about people that have old footage, and she said my name first and foremost because
you're the archive of it.
Yeah, and that's the fam. So she looked out for me on that, and then Jelly's manager Jonathan already knew how far back me and Jelly went and like the footage that I have and stuff. So she just approached me. She called me, was a really sweet lady. And she was just like, I've heard lots of stuff about, Jelly Roll's older stuff and that you're the one that has the majority of the footage. We'd love to use use the 10-minute freestyle clip. So I sent them that. And then I sent them some Worm and Jelly clips. Yeah. I sent them some 2005 footage that my boy BJ had shot when he had a DV cam, like with the little tapes.
Oh wow!
They used a clip of that when Jelly's flicking the camera off.
Oh, okay.
So like, there's a clip they use of the 10-minute freestyle I shot. Now, there's two clips of him and Worm where he's like making weird faces. That was Worm and Jelly show.
Okay.
And then the one at the kitchen at the dinner table where he's flicking the camera off, that was footage from 2005.
Holy crap!
Yeah, at O'Charlie's.
Now that little freestyle clip of him out in the parking lot, who's that from?
No, I have no clue what that. I don't know whose footage that was. It wasn't mine.
Yeah,
I had never even seen that clip. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why they didn't use the 10-minute freestyle audio clip. It may be because there was music underneath it.
Yeah, probably.
And they didn't want to run the risk of like that. But regardless, I mean they were really, really nice. They used those little small pieces of footage, and I mean I'm in the end credits. Like,
that's freaking amazing.
Which is crazy.
It's wild that you back in 2009 when you're filming that stuff. Would you? Yeah.
And I didn't know what we were doing because like I had been. So how that even started is I got laid off. I was working for Lowe's, the factory in White House. We built steel doors, right? Well, in the wintertime, at that time frame, this was 2008. Wintertime, it gets really slow, so they started doing this thing where it was temporary layoffs, where they would pay you unemployment for 3 months until it's slow, and then you come back and work like full capacity or whatever. Well, they had laid me off like a month prior, and I bought a camera at Best Buy. I was like 21, 22, bought it on a credit card, my first credit card, never made a payment on it. And I just said, fuck that credit card. I just want this my camera.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I was fucking doing. And, of course, obviously I paid all that stuff off later, but like at the time I was like, yeah, because this time Jelly was locked up this whole time of 08. And I was running his MySpace for him. We were selling his mixtapes so we could keep some money on his books, keep him some commissary. He had just found out that Bailey was born.
Which Bailey is a huge part of the documentary of life-changing parts of his life where it's like at a certain part where like Bailey being born or Bailey
he's locked up. I remember the phone call because I remember 2 phone calls. We had a bunch of them, but in 2008, there's 2 phone calls from Jelly that I remember. One of them was when he was like down because he had found out Bailey was born, and the guy just came up and told him.
Yeah, and didn't even tell her. Didn't tell her his name.
Yeah,
or her name. I'm sorry.
There was that one, and then there was the other time where Jelly called me and said, "Man, Chad, I got this song that I wrote, and it's no rapping." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I'm not rapping at all. I want you to hear it. And he sang it to me. It's a song that is on the Snow album. It is a song called Pain No More. It's a bonus track on that album he did with Lil White and B. Peasy. It's a Hypnotized Mind release.
Really?
And that song is the bonus song. It's called Pain No More. And he's literally singing the whole time.
So that's
the first time he wanted, like, he would harmonize on hooks and stuff, but it's literally like a story, like a Save Me style story, and it's just him singing. There's no rapping.
Oh, wow.
That's the two combos I remember having on the phone with him, just from that time frame.
That's wild.
But like Bailey, I thought they did such a good job with that in the documentary. You know, that's such a big part of
him changing.
Yeah, and you know, the whole time they're giving you the backstory with Jelly, like how he grew up. You know, he had the robbery case he caught when he was 16. They tried him as an adult, and
which is still on his record right now.
Still, yeah, he speaks about he got denied for their dream house. He got denied for it, not because of the money, because he's doing well with that. Yeah. It's because of that felony from 20 years or 22 years ago.
And I think that's one of his biggest driving forces in what he gives back to Nashville. And I think that's...
Oh, it absolutely is. 100%.
Yeah. That he doesn't want kids to grow up, of course, not making the same choices that he makes, but he doesn't want them to be 20 years down the road, still have a felony record for something they did as a kid.
Yeah.
Kids make mistakes. Every kid makes mistakes.
Yeah. Well, and see with him too, like he speaks about it in the documentary and about how his Thanksgiving of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
Those years he was in, because he was in juvenile and then he got tried as an adult and then he was in jail and then he got out and then he went back. Like he speaks about it in the documentary, of course. But I thought they did a really cool job of like the yin and the yang of it. Like they were showing like the story, like how growing up, and then like they talk about his mom and you know,
and addiction, and he's addiction is a common theme in this documentary.
Of course,
it's a main theme in this documentary.
Yeah, with his mom, with his pops, like with him.
Yeah, with him.
With Bunny, like him and Bunny talk. Bunny and him speak.
Bailey's mom.
Bailey's mom. Yeah.
There's a lot of addiction going on, which everybody has some form of an addiction.
Oh, bro,
everybody's an addict of something.
Yeah, for sure.
Which some people are addicts of a whole lot worse than other people. Me, I like to collect toys and movies. That's what I'm an addict of.
Yeah.
But you just seeing the real side of it and just how they were able to get is insecure, how he is insecure about himself in a way when he's once again coming back to he's one of the biggest musicians in the world right now.
Yeah.
And how easily he can be insecure about himself in a way of
and be Jelly Roll.
And be Jelly Roll.
He's
such a bright light.
Yeah.
But also to be so insecure about himself in a way.
And
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Go ahead.
You see him always smile. He's always got a smile on his face. Everything he's.
Well.
And then you see them get behind the camera and catch some of these parts where he talks about his depression.
Yep.
And everything, and what some days he just wants to lay in bed all day.
Yep.
Which that happens to everybody. Everybody feels that way, and I guess that what makes him so relatable to so many people.
100%.
That he's just like me and you.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, what I loved about the documentary was the way that Jelly is in that documentary. He is not putting on a show for that camera. That's really how he is, because I know him personally. I've been around him a lot over the last 15 years.
Yeah, and that's the way I would
cameras on.
Yeah,
and he's not. It's not a facade. It's not him faking. He genuinely is that person. He is insecure still to this day, because. He talks about it, you know, in the doc. He talks about when he was in school, he got picked on. The school guard, or the school officer was talking about how, you know, he called Jelly selling weed or whatever at school. But
he's like, you can't run from me because I'm the only one that can catch you.
Yeah, he was talking about how, you know, Jelly got picked on because of his clothes or his weight or
where he come from and his mom and everything.
And that stuff, man, it doesn't matter how much success you have or how many albums you sell or anything. That's still always something mentally. It's just hard.
It's going to be there.
It's and I relate to that a lot because, that's just kind of when you get that kind of hand dealt when you're young like that. That's the formidable years of your life, and it's hard to get out of that mindset, regardless of how successful you become. That's still always in the back of your mind.
Well, and like he says in the documentary too, when his mom, when they were feeding her medication for this, feeding her medication for that, and pretty much she became an addict from them testing out different. Because back then, even in the 90s and 80s, they didn't know how. They don't know how to do with mental disorders right now, or not mental disorders, but depression.
Yeah,
was even more new. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It wasn't focused on then.
No, not back then. No, that's now.
And everything, and they would just like he said, she would just go from one doctor to another doctor, and just growing up around addicts and everything, it just. I wouldn't say it's almost hereditary in a way.
No, for sure, it definitely is. I mean, and a lot of the times in the doc, like the certain times where you see people crying at his shows, or you see people coming up to him and crying, that shit's real too. That's not put on for the camera. I'm telling y'all.
That's one thing that stuck
life.
out to me the most is the interactions that he has with his fans and the stories that come to him. I could see why he could easily be depressed from hearing these stories from people that where his music has touched them, but he's hearing some of the worst stories that are imaginable from music that he created to try to help people. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And dude, like
I couldn't imagine hearing this kind of type of the stories that he hears and just holding it together for the next person to come up in line to meet them with a happy face because they want to tell you their story next.
Yeah,
you know
and when you saw the clip I showed you off camera that I had of him whenever this was from July of 21.
That's a lot.
It's never even been put out. But like when I was just filming, I was with him for a few shows at the beginning of that tour in July of 21, and we was in South Carolina, and I was sitting there at the meet and greet, and I was filming him, and people were telling stories, and then he just starts breaking down crying, and then later in the bus, like before the show, he's like we go to the next show the next day or whatever, and he's still remembering what the lady told him the night before.
Yeah.
But he's already heard 15 other stories that are damn near like that one.
Well, that's like he talks about in the documentary, right at the beginning of the documentary, about the man that comes to me and tells me about his daughter overdose, and he goes that
in the Publix,
in the Publix right next to the arena. He's like, that just it sticks with you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I mean, the fame and the fortune and all that stuff is amazing, but that's the hard part.
For sure.
Of the business and everything, and having is I guess a bad word, but helping people, but having to hear these stories. The hard part of it is hearing these stories and everything. Just
it's almost a gift and a curse kind of.
Yeah. That's what I guess that's the way I'm trying to put it. But it's just that's one thing that's especially where I guess it was at the Ryman where. The people are waiting outside the door, and Jelly comes around the corner and sees them. He's like waving them into the. And the woman immediately breaks down and jumps in.
That story was just so
heartbreaking.
Sad, man.
About
this,
and he's just so comforting.
Yeah, the story, like that this girl was telling her about her brother was murdered by his wife
in front
of their daughter.
Yeah,
and. The daughter, the sister of the guy that was murdered, and the mom of the guy that was murdered were there.
Yeah, the mom is the one that broke down in Jelly's arms.
Yeah, and it's just man, that got me. I mean,
and Jelly being there for that girl, because I could never put myself in that girl's shoes and witnessing something like that, and just for Jelly to step in and just to take the little time that he did right there probably meant everything to that girl.
Yeah.
And like in the documentary where he makes all these trips to the rehab facility, nobody ever hears of it. Yeah, I would have never known about all that
No, 'cause
if it wouldn't have been for this documentary.
They don't. Jelly and them really don't publicize that stuff
because he doesn't need to.
No, they
'Cause
they
that's
do.
not
They
what it's
donate.
about to him.
They donate to a lot of stuff. They don't say, "Hey, how we donate." I mean, the Ryman one was. I mean, the Bridgestone was because that was a big show, and it was that was to prove a point that like I'm putting my money where my mouth is type stuff.
Yeah.
But like they do that kind of stuff. He does that kind of stuff all the time, and nobody even hears about it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care. He doesn't do it for recognition. He has plenty of recognition already.
Yeah. And it just for what it means to those people, him coming in and just taking maybe 45 minutes and singing a few songs for them could change their life.
Yeah,
and hearing coming, and especially hearing coming from a guy with his battles that he goes through and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about like survivor guilt in the documentary and having that. And there's a part in the Red Rock scene that's like a voiceover where he's talking about, that it's kind of like church, know, because it's helping people. And I think like with that survivor guilt, he's able to, growing up in the environment that he has friends, family members that have been killed, have been, locked away forever.
It died from drug overdoses.
He might not be able to help those people, but now he can opportunity. He's got
to
the
help
opportunity
even more
to help
people than he could have before.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been to plenty of these newest live shows and everything. I can't imagine how the crowds are, especially in the small settings like the Ryman, how probably emotional the crowd is for one of his shows.
Yeah, people are crying.
Draws them in.
I mean,
for sure.
he has an aura around him. Like you said, his big thing with this new album and everything is the Back Road Baptist churches and everything were a big influence on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a preacher in a way with
he definitely
with
is.
this new outlook that he has and everything, and it resonates with people.
Yeah, and see him going to the juvenile detention centers where he was locked up at, telling them like, look, I've been here a lot back in the day. Like y'all can get through this. Just don't let this define you. And then when he's talking to the girls' side of it, there's a girl that can play the guitar, and he arranges to get her acoustic guitar brought in.
Yeah,
which was cool. Like that kind of stuff.
It makes the woman that's in charge of the juvenile department. It broke her down because
she was really sweet. I met her at the press conference. She was a really
sweetheart
lady.
of a lady.
Yeah.
She seems like, but
yeah,
just little things like that make a huge. Because these, like he says, and these kids need a chance. They're our future.
Yeah,
our future doesn't need to be just locked away. Yeah. They need something to strive for.
Don't just because they may make a mistake or two as a kid, don't let that
be the rest of their life.
They don't need discipline; they need love. I think is what
exactly
something like that.
Yeah,
and just shows somebody. It just shows that somebody cares about them.
Yeah, because a lot of the times in those situations, people are doing stuff like that because they don't feel like anybody cares.
Yeah.
So or they don't have somebody telling them to not do it.
Well, there's a lot of people that come to this city with hopes and dreams and to get big and famous and all that stuff, and they use this city in a way. You know what I'm saying? And like Jelly says in the documentary when he's doing that press conference, it's time to step up, guy. You can talk your talk, but Jelly is the one that's putting everything back into the city.
Yeah.
These other guys, you see all these bars on Broadway and stuff, it's just a name down there. It's drawing in money, but what are they doing with it? They're not doing anything to help the city. Yeah. Jelly, what, $250,000 he put into the juvenile system from the Bridgestone show?
And they're hoping to be able to donate millions,
down the line.
Down the line, every year. That's what John Manilli, his manager, who used to manage Jay-Z, by the way, Flex.
Big Flex.
Super. Dude's
seems like a super awesome guy.
When Jelly linked with John Manilli and that dude's fucking
blew him through the roof. He's
a cool motherfucker. He's I drank with him at the studio session back in June of 21 whenever he recorded Son of a Sinner. And
how was that? Did you – excuse me. When y'all were sitting in that studio session, did you and they recorded it and they played, did you think that it was going to be the hit that it's turned out to be?
I knew it was a hit song at the time. So at the time, in June of 21, Jelly had signed his record deal, but it was brand new, so it hadn't even really started going yet per se.
Yeah.
I shot his interview for the Chat Arms TV channel.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Stick around for the studio session." So I was like, "All right, cool." Well, then Jelly brings the tequila out, and we all start drinking. Well, Jelly pours shots into solo cups for shots, and they're like this big for one.
Yeah.
They call it a Jelly Roll shot. Well, after 2 of those, I don't remember my name. But we're sitting there on the couch. I'm sitting there on the couch, and he's already playing the versions of like "Son of a Sinner" and "Dead Man Walking." And when I heard both of them, I was like, man, these are both smashes. Like, these are both smash hits. "Son of a Sinner" ended up being huge. "Dead Man Walking" wasn't as big, but it was still a really
it went more to
song.
the rock. It
was more rock.
Yeah.
But "Son of a Sinner" was a complete smash.
Yeah, when
but
y'all
it
were
was
sitting
just
there
crazy.
listening to it, and it's crazy when y'all were sitting there in recordings, and now it's like one of the, it's what, over
it's got-
91 million streams.
It'll probably
on-
be his most. Well, "Save Me" will be his most streamed.
It's
song.
got more streams than Save Me though on Spotify.
On
according to
Spotify does, yeah. Well,
Well, I don't know how Spotify is
On
in the
you-
rankings of all that stuff.
well, on YouTube, "Save Me's" over like 150 million.
That's crazy
views.
Yeah, that's insane.
But yeah, I mean, it's wild, bro. It's wild to see that kind of stuff happening, like in real time, and you just like knowing you're part of something big. You know what I'm saying? But like, you don't know, you can't fathom how big it is. But like, the documentary is so good, man. If y'all haven't watched it, y'all got to check it out. The way that they bring everything together.
And I love like the small part of writing of the newest album, bringing in that stuff, and where they bringing into like that little writing session.
Oh, that female songwriter he's writing with, she's got some smashes under her
Yeah,
belt,
what'd you
bro.
say? What'd you say her name was, Chance?
Hot Mate Chance was asleep over
Caught
there.
him off guard right there. You all right?
Yep, I'm working on it.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. Seeing and Whitworth is the dude with the long hair. I've met him a few times. He's a super cool dude. He was at that same studio session.
Oh, okay. For Son of a Sinner.
He co-wrote. He didn't co-write "Son of a Sinner," but he co-wrote some of the songs on that album. I know he co-wrote "Backslide," which was a big record.
I
on
love
there.
that's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah,
on there.
that's Whitworth.
Ernest was a co-writer on "Son of a Sinner," wasn't he?
So it was Ernest, Jelly, and D-Ray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, did Ernest have anything to do with this newest? I don't think he did. He did.
I didn't see any songs that Ernest wrote on this album, but
He's one of the biggest.
he's writing bangers from Morgan Wallen.
He's like
They're gonna link back up again. They're close homies, so that's gonna happen
Dude,
again.
what about? Hold on, let's get off this for a second. Going back to Ernest, what about Jelly and Ernest opening up for Willie Nelson just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah,
too?
I forgot that flex. That
Yeah,
was just
that's
it's been
like
so
one of the
many
ultimate
flexes.
flexes. Of
And he
all
met
time.
Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks was like, that's a cool guy.
He bear hugged
He
Garth
bear hugged-
Brooks.
He bear hugged Garth Brooks. Too.
But dude, Willie Nelson, 90-year-old Willie Nelson, he got to open and sing on stage with Willie fucking Nelson
dude. Shout
and
out-
Lucas Nelson.
Shout out to Willie, man.
Yeah, Willie going strong. I saw I saw in some of their Instagram photos like Willie is super protected and everything.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity to get to open up for Willie Nelson.
For sure. You awake, Chance?
Yeah.
You all right over there, Chance? You
Did
good to
y'all
go?
see the part in the documentary where Reba McEntire just walked
Just
right
walk
by?
Dude,
right
she
by.
didn't even acknowledge. I was like,
Yeah.
damn, Jelly over
Yeah,
there.
Jelly's like,
giving
I
her
love
flowers
fancy.
and-
We live the life of fancy. That just
Yep.
stonewalled him.
I bet she wouldn't stonewall him now.
I bet not.
The,
That's
She
what's
didn't-
crazy. Oh, going back to that too. In the document, like they just had him show up just for the red carpet event, and then that's it. He wasn't invited into the awards that night. I bet he is next year.
Well, I think he was just, because he was brand new at that
Yeah.
time. Because you got to think that was October. So, like, Son of a Sinner was getting.
It's of October of 22. That's what's crazy. We're just
dude.
we're
Yeah.
in June. Like 6 months ago, all he was doing was just walking the red carpet for the CMT Awards.
Yeah, and he's
I bet he won't be just walking the red carpet next year.
And that's the thing, bro. Like they could re-up and shoot another documentary, like just off of all the stuff that's just happened. I mean, he won
yeah.
3 CMT awards. He performed on American Idol.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah.
performed on Good Morning America. You know what I'm saying? His album just dropped. Like
It's
he's got billboards on Times Square.
yeah.
what I'm
It's
saying?
just
Like,
biggest
so
artist in the world.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy to see the amount of growth in his career and like his the way he's evolved over the years. And people say all this stuff about I miss old Jelly, I miss Rap Jelly. It was like
it's a different person.
Well, yeah, and it's like my people that and at first I was like, well, I wish Jelly would rap more, but then I'm like, I can just go back and listen to the Rap Jelly shit.
Yeah, it's on. Everything's on Spotify. If you want the old school Jelly, go listen to old school Jelly.
Yeah, and even the stuff.
Welcome
that's
to
not
the Trap
Spotify,
House is always there, baby.
Yeah, and not only Spotify, even if
Shout
it's not
out
on Spotify.
O&E.
Shout out O&E. It's. I mean, you can go find the old stuff on YouTube or whatever and listen to that.
Yeah, or go back on to Chad Arms TV if you want to see the old school Jelly and watch
Yeah.
the old videos and all that.
Yeah,
But he's evolved as an artist,
Yeah.
and his music speaks to people in a different way now,
Yeah.
and it's more on an emotional level than anything.
Well, yeah, and he's just like I've said, I've quoted him several times on pods and stuff. But when he told me, he put it all in perspective for me. He was like, "Man, I know everybody wants me to do rap shit." He was like, "But I can't do Welcome to the Trap House when I'm 60.
No.
If Lord willing, if I'm still here when I'm 60, I can do Son of a Sinner and Save Me when I'm 60. I can't do the 10-minute freestyle when I'm 60."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like there's more of a shelf life, and I totally get that. And even it's like people that tell me I just rap, like I don't even do all the other stuff like that kind of music. I'll dip and dab like here and there on stuff, but like I'd be like somebody telling me, "Hey man, rap like you rapped in 2006. I want to hear that kind of rap." I'm like,
you're a totally different artist from two.
and I'm much better developed and better. Stylistically and all that now, but I get it because it's a nostalgia thing, and it's same with me. I feel the same way, but like I just go back and listen to all that.
Well,
stuff.
that's what some people always come in with the argument. It's like, oh, well, Jelly's of course gotten a ton of new fans here recently in the last 3 to 4 years. Ever since Save Me's come out, his fan base has probably tripled or more since then.
Yeah. At least.
And you always have those people, "Oh, I've been listening to Jelly since all then." That's okay. But let the new people enjoy him too.
Yeah.
There may be a person that just became a fan of Jelly Roll yesterday.
And it's not any fault of their own. They just didn't know who he was.
They didn't know who he was. Now that they come across, and the great thing about nowadays, when we were younger, when we wanted music, we either had to go buy the CDs or spend
or wait for the video to come on.
Wait for the video, or get on Napster and LimeWire and download illegal music and put it on it, wait for it to download all night long, and then wait a complete another day for it to download onto your burnt CDs.
Man, it's
music,
insane how we used to live. We were like cave people.
Dude, I tell my daughter, Chance, you too. I tell my daughter all the time. Especially when we're riding in the car, how music is just any kind of music is at your fingertips nowadays.
Yeah,
they don't understand the struggle of pulling out one of those 100 CD booklets. It's like, oh, I feel like listening to Pantera today. Flip, 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 flip.
Dude.
And then there's a scratch on it whenever you put it in.
Well, I had different books. I had my metal book. I had my rap book. I had my country book. So I had it all classified together and everything that was a struggle.
Yeah, I never had a CD changer growing up, right? Well, I got a truck now, so I got a CD changer, and I thought it was so cool. I put all some old rap CDs in there. Had the CD changer. I'm like, hell yeah. And I put it on shuffle, right? So it's playing Project Pat, on them. I'm like, hell yeah. And that song ends. And then it's like, it goes from disc 1 to disc 4. So it's like, and it's like it's 45 seconds, and then it plays a skit from another CD, and I'm like, fuck. I could have listened to an album on my fucking iPhone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's just so insane to think about. Like now, I'm like, that's not even cool anymore. I'm like, fuck, I'm old.
And then you had the visor, the visor thing up there that was
you had the wreck trying to find the Juvenile 400 Degree CD to throw.
You had your 10 most important CDs on the visor that were your all time go tos.
That looked like fucking frisbees.
God, this struggle back in the day.
But yeah, man, it's cool to see. But for people that don't like the new Jelly, that's okay. You can listen to the old Jelly. Or for people that don't like the old Jelly, you don't have to listen to it. You can listen to the new Jelly or whatever. But my thing is like, I get why people would say that, but then I look at it like, it's like telling somebody, whatever you were doing 15 years ago in your life, I want to see you do that instead of what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I
he
was
was doing
mopping
bad-
floors at fucking Kmart.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see you do that now, though. I like that version of you better than this one.
That's a great comparison.
It's like, well, you wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's just fans. I feel like being selfish.
Yeah, I agree completely.
It's like, I want to hear this. I don't care that you do that. You sold out. I'm like, well, you can think that, but it's
it's all about the music, and it's about impacting with your music and everything. And you could definitely tell that Jelly has made a huge impact. And who knows? I think we'll get another rap.
We're definitely going to get another rap album.
We'll get another
I heard a lot of it, like at that same studio.
And I
session.
can imagine it's going to be
It's
going to
be fire.
banger.
It's gonna be fire.
And it's, I mean,
Shout out Stoner.
Yeah,
Shout out Stone Baby Sound. He produced the majority of it. I think.
Okay, then it's gonna, dude. Come on.
It'll come out at some point, or he'll still give y'all some rap stuff here and there.
Yeah,
but
he's touching.
Y'all can't expect this man to look at what he's doing right now, in the lane that he's in.
Yeah, it's unheard of.
You can't expect him to just veer off of he's on this trajectory to hit this fucking spot he's been trying to go to where he's at the highest level where he can impact the most people. And for Jelly, it's never been about money either.
No.
That's why I can say that I don't feel like he ever sold out, because it's never been about money.
It's
not
about the people.
money. If it was about money, he wouldn't have donated $250,000
to the juvenile system.
That was the biggest show he's ever made money. Bridgestone, he made more money on tickets, I'm sure, than any show. But he donated that. That just shows it's not about money.
No.
So it's like, and everybody has opinions, and that's fine. Some people you just can't convince, and that's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just their opinion. But I, just as somebody that knows him personally and has known him from before all this stuff happened into now, it's just,
he wants to touch people. He wants he wants to be impactful. He wants to be a difference in people. Like Chance said earlier with the survivor's guilt and everything. He wants, of course, he feels guilty. He wants to be that person that people can reach out to.
Yeah.
And you cannot knock that at all. Mm-mm. You can't say if that's selling out. Sell me. If I was in his shoes, I'd want to reach as many people as I could. Like we said, with the double-edged sword that it is, he has the power to save lives.
No, for sure. And what I'll say, because it's probably where we are. We're probably where we are, right?
Probably 48 minutes or so.
Yeah. Like with him, he really is built for this. Like what he's doing, I'm telling you, man, there's a very small percentage of people that would be able to do the amount of stuff that he does, and he didn't. I mean, I don't think he slept a wink before he went on Good Morning America.
There's
and
no way.
Never known.
There's no way. There's no way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't do it, bro.
No.
I couldn't do. I was on the bus for 3 days with him and wanted to be like, I can't. What am I? I need to go lay down somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was 3 days, and I wasn't even like performing, or I was just hanging out.
Yeah, and that's not counting like we said with his little stops that he makes in between cities to see people and visit with people.
Or he gets 85 people that want him to leave a birthday message for their kid, or
What do you say? He has to schedule to take a shit now?
Yeah, that's what he told us, man. I believe it. But he always finds a way, man, to the people that he you know.
Even if, like we said earlier, the little things that his little things that he does, he makes sure he always tries to find a way just to give back to people.
He has, man, and like the clips that it showed in our stuff, it's just so crazy because like that one of those clips was from 2005 when we first met him. Another clip was from the freestyle, and the other clip was from Worm and Jelly when him and Jelly were just being funny and when I was holding the camera.
Yeah.
That was 2009. That was when, on the way to in that video, they talk about Worms joking on him about McDonald's. We went to the McDonald's and like split, like we went, we all three, pulled our money together and got dollar menu shit.
Yeah, McChicken. I think McChickens were talked about in that little clip.
We were driving in Jelly's gray Impala that had a spare tire on it. Worm jokes about it. R.I.P. Whizzle. He said, 500-pound Jelly driving, 500-pound Chad, and my fat ass in the front, and we on a goddamn wheel the size of this top, and goddamn it, we're making it squeak.
Chad back in the back eating Sour Patch Kids.
I'm eating Sour Patch Kids. I'm like panning the camera out to the right side. Almost dropped the camera out of the car. But
it's wild to see the.
They were both on community corrections at that time, bro. That's how crazy things were. Like they were both like out of jail, but they were not able to do anything.
Yeah.
We were going to Worm had to go to court that one time.
I remember that. He's like, I hope I
may be able to come out. We didn't know if he was going to get stuck in it, and luckily he didn't.
Wearing the Memphis Grizzlies jersey.
Yeah. And then we went to the studio, but like that was like July or August of 2009 or 10 or something like that.
Small ass desktop computers.
Yeah, man. They were. I mean, it's just
recording in a closet.
It's wild, bro.
It's crazy. It's just to see the evolution of everything is.
But he never stopped, man.
You got to keep the hustle. You got to keep even like he said when he was touring in the mid 2000s and stuff to 30 people and stuff. And he was on the road for 300 plus days a year in that tiny van.
In the van, yeah. And that's where he met. That's where him and Bunny met. Like he met Bunny around that time, sometime like later on in that tour phase. But like I thought it's super dope seeing like
the evolution of their
relationship, and then like
because they just got married on a whim, didn't they?
Yeah, they got married. They was just both drunk. He talks about they were super hammered, and they just got married in Vegas one night. And when they first got together, they were talking about in the documentary that they were both toxic in the sense they were both on drugs and stuff. And once they got custody of Bailey,
it changed everything again.
Bunny was like, I can't bring her out of the home she's at where there's drugs, and then I'm doing drugs and we're doing drugs. Like, so we got to fix this. So she said after that she hasn't done. I mean, she quit all that stuff. So she don't. And Bunny's super cool, man.
Yeah,
like,
she's one of the biggest podcasts in the game.
I mean, she's just as much of a beast as far as like just.
Her hustle don't stop.
Her hustle, like for sure. Like I mean, her podcast is huge, bro.
Huge. I listen to her podcast.
It's dope, man. Like, and she's super nice. Like, she's always, and you can tell that they really do. They genuinely love each other, and it's just cool to see because like seeing Jelly where he was back then.
Yeah, they always think that she's a gold digger when she was the one supporting Jelly back in that day.
Yeah, bro. And Jelly's the first one to tell you that.
Yeah, he admits it. I've seen that. What was it? That Vice? Didn't he have that Vice documentary that came out with him?
Yeah, it was something with
and Michael Knight and Michael.
Oh, that. But then he did something on Netflix
with Chelsea Handler.
Yeah. That's how he got on Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, okay. But I remember that one with Vice. I guess it was right there, right after him and he came back to Tennessee and everything.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
go check out. Y'all need to check out that documentary, man. If y'all don't have Hulu, you can get a free trial, watch it, and delete it.
Hey, hold on. Can't skip by one thing. There's a guy that makes a special appearance in one part of the documentary too.
At the end of the documentary, when Jelly's doing his press conference for the Bridgestone show, you'll see it. If you go to it, I'll be able to post the screenshot from that. I'm not going to be able to post a lot of pictures on this one because when you try to do it on Hulu, it blacks it out.
Yeah,
you can't screenshot. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
it's like that with Netflix too. They don't let you screen record or screenshot Netflix or Hulu stuff.
Interesting.
But I do have a screenshot of that somehow. Somebody sent it to me, or I can't remember how I got it.
Yeah, as soon as I saw, because that's one part I knew you, Squints, and Mel were there for that event and everything. And I was like, come on, just give us a side angle, because I was like, I know they're there. Yeah. I'm looking for them right here, and then all of a sudden it pans to that side. I see Mel over to the side, and then I see somebody standing there with their phone up and the flash on.
I had my fucking flash on. It was daytime in a fucking lit building, and I have my flash on. Classic Chatty. And then there's Squizzles, but that was dope too. I had no idea that was a thing.
Now that show had to be something. I wasn't present for that show. Chance, did you go to the show?
It was great. The seats are not forgiving for a big fella. I couldn't sit much because them seats do not like fat people.
That Michael Buffer entrance though.
That was fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Really?
Yep.
They surprised. Jelly says that on the podcast when he came to do the Bridgestone breakdown with us a couple days after the show. That he didn't even. That was a gift to him. He didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that story. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That show had to be. I can't imagine walking out on the stage in your own hometown, walking out on stage and seeing 16,000 people that absolutely adore the fuck out of you.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And there was that he done a couple of songs and then he just like paused and just took everything in and like walked from one side of the stage to like that was probably one of the coolest things I ever seen at a concert, just in front of your hometown crowd.
Yeah.
And then he also brought his daughter out to do a song too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't
which was
imagine
so
it's
cool.
like standing in front of 16,000 people that absolutely love you.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And that you've somehow impacted their life in some way or another, standing in front of standing in front of that.
And there would have probably been another several thousand that would have been in there had there been room.
Mm-hmm.
Now
That
his
would've been good.
bandmates have been together, especially with Casey, his guitar player. He's been with
Casey Strums has been shout out to the whole 36 Hour band. And they're all super cool. I haven't got to meet the new guy that plays the steel thing.
Okay,
He's
dude.
super
Oh
dope,
my
dude.
God, he
got
sounds
added
amazing.
like last year, but
And now it sounds like he's got a piano player now.
yeah, but I haven't met him. But Casey's cool as fuck.
He's been around. He's been with Jelly for a long time.
since the early days. Yeah, Jack Fowler, super dope guitarist.
Great
Jack's
band.
dope. Yeah, Alex is cool. Cody's a badass drummer.
Dude, his Instagram is watch
Yeah.
his Instagram covers. Do you follow him on Instagram, Chance? Dude, follow him. He does a lot of cover songs on Instagrams that are drum covers. Amazing, good ass shit right there though.
Yep.
But yeah, it's great to see the local guy win on this one.
Oh
because-
man, he definitely did, man. If y'all haven't checked that out, y'all need to go check it out, man. I'm not even being biased because it's my homie, but like it's one of the best documentary films that I've seen. Like
yeah,
the way it's shot, the way it's directed, produced, like all that.
the editing is
The
really
editing's
well
great. Like,
done.
it's really good, man. Even if you don't even know Jelly and you want to find out more about him, or if you are a fan, you haven't seen it, y'all need to check it out. It's Hulu, and even if you pay for Hulu for a month, it's like $8 and you can cancel it.
And it came out. When did the documentary come out?
May 30th. I
May
think?
30th. I've watched it 2.5 times already, and
Yeah,
it flows easily. It's an easy watch. It's emotional. I mean, it gets you in the feels. It gets you rooting for him. I mean, it covers all the bases in
For
some.
sure.
And then with it being a documentary, we thought it'd be a great tie-in for an episode with Over the Top and everything, and especially with you being so close to Jelly as you are and everything, it gives us. Because I don't know if, with over on this channel, I'm sure that everybody knows that you do music and everything, but we may hit some people that didn't
know
didn't know that how
Probably
close
so,
you are
yeah.
and everything. So that, and it's a local episode, and we like to see the home team win.
Oh, he's gonna keep winning, man. Salute to Jelly, man. I love you,
Yeah.
man. The whole team, y'all
Amazing
y'all keep
job.
doing what you're doing,
Great
man.
job.
We're always gonna support you, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this episode, man. We'll jump back to some movie stuff. We got some cool ideas. We'll have one more movie episode. Then episode 15 will be another wrestling.
Oh
one.
yeah, baby!
And then
Double Trouble will be back, baby.
Double Trouble will be back, baby.
But shout out Nixon Pro Media once again for the studio tonight. Always helping us when we need them to. Shout out to Trouble Whiskey. Go get you some whiskey, gin, and vodka. But please drink responsibly.
That's it.
Shout out to Halloween H2O.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shout out to Jason Goes to Hell. Shout out to Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. And
And Halloween 3.
I love Halloween.
We love Halloween 3. We out this motherfucker.